Good morning and thanks for joining us from the Ohio AgNet, the voice you know at the News You Trust studio, sponsored by BASF, where you can count on the trusted performance of Elevo seed treatment to protect your soybean crop. Also in part by Performance Livestock Analytics, helping Ohio cattle producers run more efficient cattle operations with real-time data on feed, health, and performance, all in one easy-to-use app. I'm Joe Everett bringing you today's farm news. Some quick calendar reminders. Powered by Soy Biodiesel, we will be broadcasting from the Farm Science Review with Wilmington College. You can visit them at the Farm Science Review and learn more about how their agriculture program is built for a purpose. Then make plans now to visit the Ashland County Fair September 14th through the 20th. Sponsors for Friday's remote broadcast at the fair are Centerra Co-op and Wellington Implement. Visit ashlandcountyfair.com for a full schedule. Well, Senator Chuck Grassley, Tammy Baldwin, and Joni Ernst are reintroducing bipartisan legislation, the Fertilizer Research Act, and it would require the U.S. Department of Agriculture to conduct a study on competition and trends in the fertilizer market and their subsequent impacts on price. Grassley is a lifelong family farmer and a member of the Senate Agriculture Committee. Fertilizer is an essential tool our farmers rely on to maintain healthy soil and improve crop yields, Ernst said. I'm working hard to drive down fertilizer costs and make life more affordable for both farmers and consumers. By gaining a better understanding of the fertilizer industry, this research will provide the foundational knowledge needed to give farmers much needed clarity and certainty as harvest approaches. The Fertilizer Research Act is endorsed by the National Corn Growers Association, the American Soybean Association, the American Farm Bureau Federation, the National Farmers Union, and many other organizations that support farmers. While on the topic of fertilizers, let's see how they're trending. Prices have been mixed over the past month. DAP is up about 5% from last month, now averaging $862 a ton. MAP edged higher to $917, potash to $488, and anhydrous to $768. On the flip side, urea slipped to $631 a ton. 1034.0 came in at $667. UAN 28 at $414 and UAN 32 at $482. Breaking it down by per pound of nitrogen, urea averaged 69 cents, anhydrous at 47 cents, UAN 28 at 74 cents, and UAN 32 at 75 cents. Now let's check in with our weekly update from the Ohio Soybean Council and your checkoff dollars at work. Here's Dusty Sonnenberg.
I'm joined today by Steve Reinhardt. Steve is past chair of the United Soybean Board. Steve, with commodity prices what they are right now, a lot of folks are looking at and maybe complaining about trade or lack of trade. But there's another aspect to it, and that deals with domestic demand. And I know United Soybean Board is really looking at things they can do to drive that demand. What are some things that have been done with checkoff dollars to help increase the value of U.S. soy?
Sure. So one of the things we try to do on the local or domestic market is to work with our qualified state soybean boards. So that would be in our case, the Ohio Soybean Council, and look at how we can do these regional operations to help increase the demand domestically. So whether we're talking about dynamic green products, which Ohio has worked with and developed, bar and chain oil with DeWalt and some other products there for lubricants, whether it be biodiesel that we get from the crush at AGP throughout the Midwest, and then we're shipping, meal around to different places that need to help the livestock industry. Now we talk about Goodyear tires and how we've been able to expand that market and continue to use soybean oil in those tires, and then even the cooking process and how we have our high oleic oil. It's no trans and no saturated fats, and really good to extend the fry life of products and make it more healthy for us.
My guest again today has been Steve Reinhardt with the United Soybean Board, and today's update brought to us by the Ohio Soybean Council and your soybean checkoff.
Hey, thanks Dusty for the update. Stay tuned. We'll be back with today's weather next here on the Ohio AgNet. Get ready for the 63rd Annual Farm Science Review, September 16th through the 18th near London, Ohio. Explore hundreds of exhibits, field demonstrations, and educational sessions. Get pre-sale discounted tickets at participating OSU Extension offices, agribusinesses, or online at fsr.osu.edu. Plan your trip with the digital directory and mobile app, and follow Farm Science Review on social media. Don't miss the 63rd Farm Science Review, September 16th through the 18th.
The Ohio's Country Journal sweepstakes are back. 4 winners will receive a $250 Visa gift card. Subscriptions are still free, but we must have a new request on file from subscribers every 3 years. Come renew or subscribe at the Farm Science Review, and you'll meet that September 20th deadline to be entered. If you've already subscribed since January 1, 2025, you're automatically already entered. Good luck, everyone.
You're tuning in on the Ohio AgNet. Today's weather brought to us by Sea Consultants. Simply better performance online at seaconsultants.com. Here's the forecast.
Sunny, warm, and dry weather as we've moved through the end of the week. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin with a look at that Ohio Ag Weather Update. Nothing new, exciting, and different here. We've talked about sunny, warm, and dry weather all the way through the week so far. If you're heading out to day 3 of the Farm Science Review, congratulations. Got another good one for you. It's probably a little more humid, and if you're in the exhibit tent, probably from late morning through afternoon, you probably will wish you weren't because it's going to be a little bit warm. But you get the idea. Very dry. We're going to be sucking moisture out of crops again. Got a lot of reports across Ohio of moistures on beans down in that 9 to 10% range. We're seeing moistures in corn drop incredibly fast. This is a weather pattern that does that. More of the same for tomorrow, more of the same for Saturday. I think as we get into the weekend, Sunday is going to be the day to watch. Clouds increasing, but I don't think there's any moisture until we get past sunset and into the overnight. And then we see on again, off again scattered showers for past midnight Sunday night through Monday and through Tuesday. Right now, I'm going to pencil in for that period anywhere from 1/4 to 3/4 of an inch, 80% coverage across Ohio. Then comes a very interesting part of the forecast. This is all with a cutoff upper level low. The front moves through okay over those 2 days to start the week, but if the low can't exit out of the Great Lakes, if it sits over the thumb of Michigan or southwestern parts of Ontario through Wednesday into Thursday, that's going to create wraparound cloud cover back into Ohio, and I won't be able to rule out a few on again, off again showers. Will it be enough to keep us out of the field? I don't know, but it will not hasten drying here, and it will push back our clearing and out and drying completely until closer to Friday. So that's what I'm watching for the second half of next week. An upper level ridge takes over the nation's midsection for next week, moves into our area for the following weekend and into early parts of October. Also watching a large tropical system, seeing if it holds together, getting into the mid-Mississippi River Valley right about the time we start off month of October as well. I'm Ryan Martin.
Hey, thanks, Ryan. Now let's check in for an update from Dusty Sonnenberg from the Farm Science Review.
Joining me today is Mike Less, or if you're into social media, you may know him as Farmhand Mike. Mike, we're out at Farm Science Review. First off, who are you with here today?
So I'm here with Deutz-Fahr tractors, and we're just set up the road from you up here on Corn Avenue. We got several tractors from our lineup, starting at 60 horsepower all the way up to the 340 horsepower model here on display at the show. You know, we're dry in Ohio. Things are burning up. We haven't had a good rain for a while, but, you know, there's some guys getting into the soybeans around home. Started last week. Corn silage is going on, and guys are trying to get finished up with that because once it was ready, and then it started drying out. A few guys shelling corn, but talked to a guy yesterday doing beans, and they're already down to 8%. So now we're kind of needing some rain to come through. But yeah, I don't know. I think we could have a good, decent crowd because I don't know that anybody's going full swing yet. So, and the weather's nice. I mean, yeah, it is warm, but we don't have humidity.
Right.
And so yeah,
absolutely. Well, you get to do a lot of traveling all across the country and see a lot of neat things that you feature on your YouTube page. Mike Less, Farmhand Mike, if anybody's interested to go to look. What are some of your latest adventures or some of the cool things you've gotten to see here in the last couple months?
Oh, well, you know, the last couple months here, the summer's flown by. I mean, here we are, Farm Science Review all the time already. So the last 3 weeks I've been busy videoing guys doing corn silage from, you know, Indiana across Ohio. All kinds of operations, from big custom guys running multiple machines down to the pull-type guys filling upright silos. So I got a pretty good mix of that. Did get a guy shelling corn a few weeks ago. I went out to California with Colossus of America. They introduced a brand new forage harvester, over 1,100 horsepower with a 14-row corn head, and that, you know, that's a German company, but that machine is built specifically for North America because they don't use that big of a machine. From what I'm told, a lot of other places that was built for here. So, you know, as these dairies grow and get bigger, and these custom guys are coming in, they need a machine with a lot of throughput, and so that I mean, you know, stuff just keeps getting bigger. A lot of, who would have thought now, we thought 600 horsepower tractors were going to be the end of it. And now we're over 800. So, I mean, it's, and the technology, I mean, that just never ends. I mean, now we're, getting into this autonomous stuff now, which I guess has been around a little bit on an experimental. I mean, I seen an autonomous grain cart tractor probably 12 years ago, and I was in the field with it, and that was pretty neat. But, we're hearing more of that, and obviously the guidance and the row shutoffs and just the See and Spray. There's just so much,
Sure.
And I know people talk about the cost of it, but in the end, a lot of this stuff, with the cost of herbicides and seed and fertilizer, I mean, I think it'll pay for itself in the end.
Well, again, my guest today is Mike Less, and you can find him his YouTube channel, Mike Less, Farmhand Mike, or just Google Farmhand Mike, and it'll pop up. But great things, follow him. He's got some really cool videos up right now, and something definitely you're going to want to follow on a regular basis. Mike, thanks so much for your time today.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks, Dusty. Well, the United States, Canada, and Mexico are beginning consultations ahead of next year's review of the USMCA trade deal. Mexico's economy minister says the three nations will evaluate the pact's results over the past 5 years to prepare for possible extension talks in 2026. The U.S. Trade Representative notes that the agreement covers nearly $2 trillion in goods and services. Canada plans to start its own industry consultations this fall. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more after this.
Attention construction pros. Purple Wave Auction brings quality equipment to your fingertips. Join our bi-weekly online auctions featuring dozers, excavators, loaders, and more. We provide detailed listings, photos, and seller contact info. Inspect online or in person. With our no reserve policy, every item sells to the highest bidder. Visit purplewave.com today and see why informed builders choose Purple Wave. Transparent processes, real deals. Your next great purchase awaits. purplewave.com.
It's time now for today's market analysis, which is brought to you by the Louis Dreyfus Company, excited to be building the newest state-of-the-art soybean crush facility in Upper Sandusky, Ohio. Call 574-566-2113 for information on soybean marketing to LDC. Here's Ryan Martin.
Grain markets finished the Wednesday session lower as we continue to bring information to you here from the Farm Science Review, London, Ohio. Day 3 taking control today, and we're going to be winding this event down. It's been a good one. It's a big one. Markets have given us everything so far. Up on the start of the show, down yesterday, and as we move through today, who knows? Maybe we'll get both. Here's what the market was looking at yesterday. The Fed funds rate was probably front and center when it comes to macro markets. Usually that doesn't mean anything for the grains, but we did see the meat markets here recently kind of get squirrely on employment things, and so the employment number is going to be interesting to see what the Fed says about that in their notes that are going to be metered out here over the next little bit through the marketplace. On the grain side, there were no new daily export sales announced by the FSA yesterday. This is the time of year when daily sales should be relatively common. Corn, bean, and wheat sales are falling flat. Corn is in competition from a growing South America crop and an ample EU and Black Sea pipeline. That's capping the wheat rally and hindering our corn. Meanwhile, on the soybean side, the story is what the story has always been, lack of China sales. We did see or hear a little more of a confirmation of the rumor that President Trump will be meeting with President Xi on the sidelines of the APEC conference. That's going to be early in November. So again, nothing's likely to get done between now and then. So we're going to have another month of no purchases by China of U.S. products. Brokers estimate fund managers purchased about 2,400 contracts of corn yesterday, sold 900 to 1,000 beans, 2,100 contracts of wheat. As we move into other stories, Stats Canada offered another update on the Canadian 2025 crop production numbers, boosting the wheat production by 700,000 metric tons to 36.6 million metric tons. Meanwhile, canola production was raised to 20 million metric tons versus 19.2 million last year. So we're not selling anything here out of the United States, and guess what? World numbers on supply continue to climb. I'm Ryan Martin.
Hey, thanks, Ryan. Now let's take a look at your overnight trade brought to us by Seed Consultants. Simply better performance online at seedconsultants.com. December corn, $4.2625, down a half. March corn, $4.4425, down a quarter. November soybeans, $10.42, down 2 cents. January soybeans, $10.61, down 2 cents. As we turn to livestock from yesterday's close, October live cattle, $231.10, down $2.35. October lean hogs, $97.32, down a nickel, and October feeder cattle, $349.12, down $5.17. This is the Ohio AgNet